frightful expression. Could it be, though you beat him to a pulp, you truly did love him?
What?
It serves you right, you nasty brute!
It's just that when I see your face, and when I hear that sweet voice, the full weight of my rock-hard fist slamming into your succulent cheek.
At last, we have the rematch between Scarlet and Terrannissa, and it ends in Scarlet's defeat? Oh.
You see, I'm terribly impatient, so if you don't hurry, my hand might slip.
Stop! We'll do it!
Aw, you didn't get to hit me. Oh well, maybe next time.
Hi there everyone, Lars back with another review and analysis for May I Ask for One Final Thing, brought to you by Camille's Harem, a channel for novice authors by novice authors, and because writing is an adventure, it's way more fun with friends, and holy cow, this episode delivered on all the build-up that we've been getting, and is actually setting up even yet more to come down the line. And something that I need to say before I dive into a review of the events of this episode is that this episode should not leave in anyone's minds doubt whether or not Scarlet is a Mary Sue. Yes, she is incredibly powerful, yet we see in this episode that she does have various weaknesses. She has limits to her power. She can be beaten. She can be outsmarted. She can be maneuvered into a position that is unfavorable to her. And although she has amazing talent, strength, and some great magic, along with a really good god backing her up, that doesn't mean that she is invincible. And that elaboration we get in this episode, that we actually get to see it play out, does a lot for her character by bringing her to a new kind of low, to a low that was unexpected, to an actual defeat. This means that now the path is open for her, should she make the right choices, to claim a well-earned victory, and one that she just can't simply one-punch gal her way through. Although, that doesn't mean that she's not going to try. Alright, so let's get to the events of this episode. We get to learn pretty early on that the reason why Scarlet is here with Saintess Diana is because she plays a dual role in sainthood, as is revealed, and it is a highly kept state secret, that the Saintess Diana in all of her incarnations, since the very first Saintess, has actually lost half of her power. That the Saintess that is propped up as the liaison to the goddess, as the one that all the people of the Church of the Saintess Diana go to, she is only one half of the greater power that maintains prosperity and, most importantly, safety within the Palmian Kingdom. Chiefly, the Saintess is the one who is supposed to erect special barriers that keep monsters out of the kingdom, as well as protect the crystals that maintain the greater barrier from year to year. It is the job of the second priestess to undo the corruption that has been placed upon these various crystals. A gal who has been blessed by Kronos. In this case, it is Scarlet. And this is the reason why she was paired off with the oafish, impish, evil prince in the beginning, because the royal family needs to maintain a hold of the second half of the priestess's powers. And we learned that the pilgrimage, in a way, is kind of a ruse for the people to distract them from the fact that the Saintess doesn't have her full powers, and is a way with much pomp and pageantry to cover up just how weak the kingdom is, that should this ritual fail, should these crystals fail, they are in a whole lot of trouble. Once those barriers come down, bad things will happen, as is being set up in this episode. And in the previous episode, we see already some of the treachery and a potential full invasion. So things are still getting set up for stuff to get even worse for our heroes and heroines. Excellent. Even as we were getting payoff, we're still getting some good build-up. But in a town that constantly is snowing, no, we're not talking Snowden here, this isn't Undertale. In a town where it constantly is snowing, the people reject the pilgrimage from entering, saying that they have decided to enter into a new contract with a much more powerful goddess and her avatar. It is Terrannissa, And we get a full-on confrontation now, a rematch between Terrannissa and Scarlet. And this time, Terrannissa has come prepared. Not only does she have the barrier powers of the priestess, or the saintess, that she has actually stolen, gasp, but she has brought along an inquisitor and a bunch of other priests who are able to utilize their magic to negate Scarlet's own time magic, meaning that she now has to rely far more on her own physical strength against brutes who are able to utilize physical magic and their own incredible strength to match hers, which begins to quickly drain her of her own physical vitality. On top of that, she's already used up plenty of her own time magic to reverse what's been done to the crystals, further weakening her. This ambush is perfectly timed to hit Scarlet when she is at her weakest, mentally, physically, and magically. And it's pulled off really well, even though Scarlet is able to close in the gap and nearly pummel Terrannissa into the ground, even with her special barrier magic, because Lord Dios pulls his trap card and reveals that he is a traitor to the kingdom, and there is a standoff. There will be a trade, a saintess for a priestess, and Saintess Diana is given back to the kingdom in exchange for Terennissa's safe passage away. Scarlet is completely drained of energy, collapses, and finds herself awakening in the realm of the gods, where the god Kronos reveals to her that really what's been going on this whole time is, well, there's another goddess involved who is a little bit of a yandere and really, really wants him in his attention, and if he won't give it to her, then she will destroy everything that he loves. And so she is utilized through the power of isekai without even relying on Truckun. That's being really cheap there, goddess, to retrieve a gal from Japan and turn her into a psychopath who will be the avatar for the goddess and instigate the war necessary to destroy everything that Kronos loves, so that way Kronos will then turn his attention to Goddess Yandere. And so Kronos blesses Scarlet with even more power, undoing all of the damage that's been done to her and restoring her completely, so that way she is fit for a war that is about to break out. Again, what I love about this episode is not just that we see Scarlet being defeated, which I'll elaborate a little bit more again on why this is so good, but also because we keep getting build up for future episodes while getting the payoff. All of those shady moments with Lord Dios, okay, yes, it now comes full circle, and yet there might be even more. We now come to understand a little bit better about why Saintess Diana felt so useless. We now better understand the importance of Scarlet to the royal family, and it's not just the lovey-dovey eyes that Prince Julius has been giving her. And no, in this case, we're getting answers to questions that we might not have even asked about, like, well, why was it that these two families were brought together? What is the purpose of the saintess and of these religions? And how does this kingdom even fit into the greater global paradigm? In fact, we're getting all of this information that, again, is setting up for a full-on war that is about to start. And it's not just a war of kingdoms going against each other for land and for power, or for a girl, an isekai girl, wanting to claim her own kingdom. No, this is even a conflict of gods. And we come to understand that the gods themselves cannot directly intercede in any of these events. However, they can choose champions and quote-unquote avatars through which they can operate in order to make their will come to pass. So again, this is a lot of great world building that is payoff to all of the previous episodes that have introduced us to Scarlet, to her brother, to Prince Julius, to the dynamic of the kingdom. What the heck is all going on here? Now things start making a little bit more sense why this kingdom has gone so chaotic, why the corruption needed to be stamped out. It was not just simply because the royal family are a bunch of altruists who don't want any more slavery. I mean, that's good enough on its own, but because they are in a very precarious situation where war, a global war, could go down if certain things within their kingdom get too rotten. Prince Julius and Scarlet have been tasked with ridding this kingdom of the rot, and we come to realize that maybe they're just a little bit too late as treachery now hits. This is really, really great. So we're getting the payoff to everything that's been built up, and we're still getting build up for even greater and crazier things yet to happen. And having read a little bit ahead in the manga, I can tell you this, it's about to get wild. The action's going to get intense, and everyone is going to have an awesome role to play. And I really hope that the anime is able to capture that, because it is great. But let me return to why it's so important that Scarlet loses. Now, I am not personally in the camp of I love watching my main characters suffer. Suffering of your characters is meant to help them grow. If characters cannot grow, they're not really interesting. And I've been talking about how Scarlet can just one-punch gal her way through just about anything. Let's even think about Saitama for a moment from One Punch Man. Saitama has reached the absolute apex of physical power. Nothing can stop him, and that's kind of the joke. He can defeat everything in one punch except for his depression. He can defeat everything with one punch except for making friends. He can defeat everything in one punch except for not getting that sale by the end of the day. That very mundane things cannot be solved with brute force. And it's kind of the same with Scarlet. Scarlet's got all of this strength, but that doesn't help her in terms of romance. All of that strength did not save her from the trauma that she went through as a young girl, and all of that strength cannot immediately save everyone that she loves when betrayal hits. And when that lesson comes down like a bolt of lightning on top of her and delivers a solid loss, it is a loss, even though it might seem like it's a draw. We have both withdrawn. Scarlet is the one who goes down, and goes down at a very dangerous time, because war is here. And without those crystals being powered, bad things are about to happen. It is a loss. That loss allows for Scarlet to grow. And not just that she got a power-up from the god Kronos, but rather it will help put into perspective everything that she's doing, and will demand of her that she confronts various relationships that she's either taken for granted or that she should have paid closer attention to. On top of that, she has greater reason now to fight to the utmost, and maybe to make some sacrifices and some choices that she might not have otherwise made. We'll have to see how the story continues to unfold. Losses provide opportunities, which is why it's a good thing to have your characters lose from time to time. It's not to make them suffer, but instead it is to open up those opportunities for personal growth that might not have happened otherwise. If everything's going well in your life, why should you be challenged? Why do you need to be challenged? Could you even be challenged? But when life is not going exactly your way, those are the opportunities where you really get to show what you are made of, and who you can be, who you can become. And that is what this moment is for Scarlet. Also, one thing that this episode does is that it helps to bring in a lot more of the side characters who we might just have taken as window dressing, and gives them more to do. It gives them a chance to have some autonomy within the story, influence things a little bit more, but also with Scarlet being defeated, they're now all put into positions where they can make a bigger difference within the story than they otherwise could have. This is again another reason why it's actually good that Scarlet loses, because with her defeat, everyone else must step up. And when they step up, we get to see who they really are. And let me just say this, as far as the villains go, I love just how petty the ambitions and the motivations of most of the main villains are within this series, and that's actually okay. We've gotten to a point now with so much in storytelling where we expect villains to have these grandiose plans that are just so complicated. And I mean, if you're fans of some of the big anime with characters like Sosuke Aizen, for instance, it's all four-dimensional and beyond chess with them as they try to ascend into the realm of gods. But there's nothing wrong with a good mustache-twirling villain, where you've got someone who just wants loads of money, where you got someone who just wants to have power in order to abuse others, where one person's like, I wish to own slaves because I'm a scumbag and I know it, or where you've got this girl who's like, I will become the queen and I will use my magic in order to brainwash everyone to make them love me. Oh, aren't I just such a villainess who's actually the heroine? It's like, lady, none of that makes any sense. sense, but to her, in her own deranged, power-hungry mind, absolutely does. And with a goddess starting an entire world war just in order to obliterate what another god loves, so that way she hopes that he will finally look her way and love her back, yeah, all of that's really petty. None of that is anywhere near four-dimensional chess, but it is effective for how the story unfolds. You do not need to give your villains huge grandiose plans and ideas in order to make them threatening figures. Instead, you just need to give them motivations that make sense for their characters and make them act on it to the best of their ability. And that's the important thing. When villains act to the best of their ability, that's what makes them dangerous. Terrannissa is not the greatest anime villain of all time, not even by a long shot. And yet, she is a villain who works really, really well because of how she's able to utilize her powers, how she has capitalized on the weaknesses of the kingdom, how she has turned people's hearts to her cause, how she has manipulated other people's greed or their anger or just their sadistic ways, all to her own ends. She is a manipulator. She's not even really a master manipulator, but she realizes what makes people tick, and then she just slightly nudges them in that direction, and then where she needs to, she then applies a little bit of magical force. And while, again, that doesn't make her the most dangerous villain of all time, it is effective enough that obviously she wins this round. She wins this matchup. And now we're wondering who's going to win the war that has begun. Oh, this is great. And what this also lets you know is that once Scarlet uses that special watch that's been given to her by the god Kronos, it really is all over for Terrannissa, because she will have lost everything other than her pawns to go up against Scarlet. So that means that she's going to have to fight from the back lines, which she won't do really well when the queen, the real Queen Scarlet, bashes and crashes her way finally across the board to confront her rival. And I'm really looking forward to it. But what I hope that you get out of this episode is that, again, it is good for your main characters to lose from time to time, because it provides chances for growth and chances for other characters to step up and do something awesome. Also, you do not need to make your villains just the greatest and most smartest of all time. You don't really need to do that. That so long as a villain is doing the best that he or she can, that's what makes them dangerous. And then third, it is totally possible to have payoff and build-up happening at the same time. You can keep on rolling those things together. You just have to know where to put all of your different moments at the right time, kind of like stacking up dominoes to fall in the proper order to create a beautiful collage. But those are my thoughts on this most recent episode. Now I want to hear what yours are. Please, in the comments below, tell me what you thought of this latest episode of May I Ask for One Final Thing? And if you liked what you saw here, then please subscribe if you haven't already done so. Like, share this video on out, because that helps out a whole lot. But if you'd really like to support the work that I do, please check out the books that I've published. Links for them are in the description below. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining me on this incredible adventure that we call writing. And until the next video, y'all, tschüss.